OMG. The question is, are we live? It looks
Question
like
is,
can they survive?
are Schwood and Justin are young ready for the attack?
That's right. Oh, man. Well, it says here live, but I'm seeing a bunch of nothing on the screen. I wonder if the wrong feed is going out. Let's see. Oh, no, there it is. All is well. We apparently are quite live. Here's my hand waving. And we'll see shortly whether or not that cooperates. It says excellent connection, which is good too. All right. So cool. Then in that case, what I'll do is I will haha. Hey, there I am. Put me over here. And let me get Justin over on this one. We'll zoom you down just a little bit, Justin. There we go. Well, it says that we are public and live. Let's see if we got anybody in the chat. Cool. For the uninitiated, this is the Weird Things podcast where we talk about the peripherally unusual.
Yes.
Here we go. Can I get some audio from you, Andrew?
Hello, I am Andrew. It is a pleasure to be here with you all.
Awesome.
Every one of you.
All right, guys. If you are ready, then we are good to go.
All right.
Ready? In 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Weird Things podcast. I'm Andrew Mayne, joined by Brian Brushwood.
Hello, hello.
And Mr. Justin Robert Young.
Oh, hello, friends. How are you?
Gentlemen, quite a lot to talk about. And having missed a week, it's,
A lifetime, you mean?
Yeah, a lot of things have added up. And I think the top story, Justin and I were at Dev Day, OpenAI Dev Day on Monday, and we did a live stream for OpenAI there and talked about some of the products there, which we can talk about later. But I think the big story right now is Sora the app. OpenAI launched Sora, over a year ago, or about a year ago, and showed off this state-of-the-art video generation model. And then it came out and released it. People could use it. But then quickly got eclipsed by Google's Veo and some other models. And people are asking, where's OpenAI? What happened to OpenAI? I thought you got the video people. And, Veo 2 came out, which is really good. Then Veo 3 came out, which was a really, really good model. And then a week ago, OpenAI said, we've got a thing called Sora 2. And there's actually 2 versions, Sora 2 and Sora 2 Pro, which we can talk about. But then more important was they put out that app, the Sora app. Brian, what were your impressions?
Man, Justin and I were talking about this on Great Night. The award for the greatest whiplash in 24 hours, or about 2 hours, goes to Brian Brushwood, because I went from I found the idea of a social media feed very, very weird, in that, who is it for? Is it just slop? Is it this? Is it that? The question I was asking is, where's the human? And then immediately when you start playing around with it, you realize that the video is essentially just thoughts. They're shared daydreams. It's like somebody imagines a thing and a version of it, instead of having to go through Broca's area of translating into written language of any variety. Instead, the image itself is just instantly transferable through this social media app. Technologically, yes, everybody is going to be blown away, and should be, by the capabilities of Sora. Just have it make somebody eating spaghetti to kind of see it in action. But to me, the more interesting thing is the stumbling upon of a new type of social media modality where it doesn't scale nicely. It can't be managed nicely. It's deeply pocketed, deeply personal, and weirdly, like I've heard it said before that the two things you never want to be caught describing are your LSD trips or your dreams. And I see that with Sora. Like in Sora, I want to see all of the ridiculous, surrealist dreamscapes that everyone has. But the moment you take them out of that app, it seems strange and small. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but also I think the thing that caught everybody by surprise was the cameo feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think because Scam School.
You want to explain it to people?
Yeah, basically you talk and show your face and move your head around, and with a shockingly small sample size, it's able to create a digital avatar of you, and you can set permissions on whether or not other people can use your likeness and with what guardrails. And in my case, I open up for perfectly legitimate reasons. Scam School is a different program than at Schwood, and Modern Rogue is a different program. But I made 3 different avatar cameos, one wearing a fake mustache, one dressed as an old man, and one that is me. And it's amazing. You can write scenes for all of this stuff and have characters interact with each other. And the big news was this week, what's his name? Mark Cuban, is that who it was?
Yeah.
Mark Cuban got on there, but he added a little itty bitty brought to you by Cost Plus drugs. And sure enough, got lots of free advertising, not just for his likeness being used in the videos and within the Sora ecosystem, but of course, all of the concurrent PR benefits to everybody talking about what a genius marketing move it was.
Yeah, so that was sort of the really unexpected feature, is the ability that you can put yourself into these videos. You can give your friends permission, or people you select, or anybody the ability to put you into a video. And then you can write a little description which says how it gets used. So you could say like, maybe I don't want to be used in videos where it's political, and then it'll refuse it. And then they need to be more specific about how that works. But that way you can sort of, hey, put your guidelines for how you're used in there. And that was the thing, is we were looking at how every Mark Cuban thing had an ad. Anytime he's Mark Cuban, it had an ad for his drug company, which was kind of like, wait, what's going on? And we realized, oh, he just wrote into the description, anytime my cameo appears, you've got to mention Cost Plus drugs, which was amazing.
Smart.
And we're such a, you know, when it first launched, there were all kinds of copyrighted characters in there, and OpenAI took the policy, like, let us know if you want to be opted out. Well, a lot of people wanted to be opted out. I haven't missed them. I think it'll be cool if they come back in there, but they took them out. But I've really been enjoying making cameos about my friends and all kinds of other stuff.
I would like to know how to opt myself in. I've heard about this opt in, but meanwhile, it's like I can't. I'm trying to mention products in the Scam Stuff store, and it says maybe violated copyright. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know the guy, and I'm pretty sure I want a Indiana Jones style adventure of discovering the Torbrenner, available now at scamstuff.com.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very new platform. We were at the opening office yesterday or day before, and ran into, you know, one of my friends who's working on the team, and there's a tremendous amount of excitement. And if you follow some of the people on Twitter, you can see they're trying to figure this stuff out as they go along. Of course, there's been a backlash about that, like, oh, you should have figured this out. But like, there is no way to know how this thing plays out. And I think that it's actually created a really kind of neat opportunity that wasn't available to IP holders before, the Disneys and other companies, is that I don't think you have anything to lose by just letting people create stuff, because they weren't making anything off of memes. Like, meme culture just came up, and they realized it was just too difficult to enforce anytime somebody made a meme about something. And I don't think there was any measurable negative impact you could see from people just copy pasting and using video clips and stuff to create memes. And I think that this is sort of an extension of that. The cool thing here is that, and I have no inside knowledge of this at all, but I could see that, you know, OpenAI could go to major IP holders and say, okay, anytime SpongeBob appears, you can put these guidelines of what he can and can't do. And then if they have a revenue, generation thing, every time, there's ad revenue associated with the appearance, then you cut them in for a piece of that. And I think it creates an entirely new place for IP to make money.
Well, and this is where we run into the structural impact of when a brand is a single person and can consult themselves and just intuitively do a thing that helps elevate their brand, like if you're a performer or whatever, then you're able to move quickly and make decisions now. And so 2 decades after that started in Twitter land, now there's codified like job titles and positions and institutional slow moving things. And people now have the language of what they're negotiating for when and what the perceived dollar value of this many eyeballs are or whatever. But for right now, there's going to be fast movers and slow movers. And luckily for Mark Cuban, he's in a position to be in a fast mover position. Same with Jake Paul. Same with whoever the dashing entrepreneur behind scamstuff.com, Gear for the Modern Rogue is. Just the best. But my point is like, this is real arbitrage. This is a real opportunity to get ahead of the slower trends to structurally move.
And specifically because this right now is the center of culture. We're moving into about a week of it being the #1 app in the App Store. It has been around for a week, so it nearly debuted there. This is a invite only scenario, which means that it is more impressive that it is able to do that. I'm taking a guess based on the feed that I am getting, which I think this is the most primitive algorithm that they will have as they now understand a little bit of their product more. But the algorithm I'm getting, which I'm guessing is pretty much just the most popular stuff on the platform, feels young to me. It feels like this is a app that is being used by the youth. And if that's the case, if it's that popular and the audience is that young, that means it is going to be a success. Like, these are the things that create Snapchats and TikToks. So,
well, and this is, and I mean this as a compliment, institutionally, a thing that you want to look for when you have a smash hit on your hand of a social network is when is the troublemaking hitting the news? And the answer is already. Congratulations. Kids, because they're teenagers, are doing stuff like setting up cameos and then freaking out their parents by having what look like homeless people on their couches or whatever, and they're fooling their parents. They're basically, congratulations, the doorbell's been invented. Step 2, ding-dong ditching has been invented. So the mere fact that there's troublemakers
turns out they don't
afoot,
just understand.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
There's, one of the things that when I was inside OpenAI, we worried about, the implication of deep fakes, right? And I'd kind of been in the mentality, and I think that a lot of people are, it wasn't special to me, but I think people are seeing now is that you could say, oh, we need to lock. And I know people are like, well, you got to lock this down. We got to lock. I'm like, you can't. You won't be able to. Like, well, that's not an excuse. I'm like, well, you can spend all of your effort trying to lock this thing down. And when it escapes and people are like, wait, what? This is a thing? You're going to get people who are going to have, really taken advantage of versus we've seen deep fakes. The big fear of the last election was, the problem with deep fakes. And the problem was we didn't get enough funny deep fakes. We know deep fakes are a thing. And now with SOAR, it's like, yeah, everybody knows. Now we're all going to be more skeptical and critical when we see video.
And I'll tell you the most important thing. I took a half day off over the weekend because, and I spent 2 of my precious invites. And I personally went over to my mom and dad's place and put on each of their iPhones and installed it and showed them how Sora works. And by God, it happened. The thing that I wanted most, my mom, completely on her own, who's probably listening, and hi, Mom, I'm excited for this. The moment Mom saw it and conjured her first image, she had that important epiphany of like, oh, you can't trust anything anymore. And I'm like, Yes, unambiguous win. That's what
You're like
everyone
the
needs to have.
Astronaut behind her the gun never could.
Never could.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's we want to get to that point where critical thinking, the hard part to teach that is you need examples. And when you don't have examples that are personal or connected to you, like, the Nigerian print scam and things like that, until you have a friend and watch somebody fall for this stuff, it's this, well, that's what other people fall for. And then, oh, well, I would know. And now you're like, oh, I've seen videos, made videos of you guys that if you just showed this to me, I'm like, oh, they just did a skit. And I'm like, no, that's them. Like, the thing that several things happened in the last week, and I think that we're still trying to figure this out, was one, any sense of the uncanny valley is gone. Not every video is perfect, but there are videos that are. And the idea that the dead eyes, the six-fingered hands, guess what? We moved way past that. That's not a thing anymore. A lot of things that people are like, well, AI can't. Nope, AI can do this. A lot of the tricky videos. One of the things that, like, a month or so ago, I couldn't find an image model or a video model that would do somebody writing with their left hand and a watch on their right hand. Sora can do that. And also the quality of Sora 2 Pro, which hasn't been really talked about, and I could show you some examples, is phenomenal.
Talk to me about the Sora 2 Pro. This is another curious part, is that they managed to blend kind of a sociological press release along with a technical press release. The technical press release being, guess what? If you are in the creation business, you can now create a lot of pro-level looking stuff. But then also, if you're farting around and just want to see what computers could do, guess what? Buckle up.
Yeah, so Sora 2 Pro is a much more higher quality example. And if you want me to screen share, I can show you.
Well, here, I was going to see if I could join.
Do that.
Sora 2 Pro. SoraAI.com?
No, Sora.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fake URLs.
Sora.chatgpt.com.
There we go. Sora.chatgpt.com.
Yeah.
And there we go.
So I have an example of something that was made in, I can show you something that was made in regular Sora, then I'll show you the Sora Pro version.
Yeah, okay. Here, let me figure out. Okay. Do you want to just go do the full screen? Or do you want me to find something?
I'll share it. So this was an action movie sequence that I made from just the regular Sora app.
Cutting through the alley.
I see you, runner!
Not tonight. Target down.
Hold on. Sorry.
Classic.
There we go.
Extract.
Oh, I do have thoughts about the.
Negative. You get to the bridge and we'll extract.
Oh, wow.
Copy. Moving.
That's Sora, regular Sora.
Okay.
So I took the same image, starting image, and then I gave it to Sora 2 Pro. Oh, by the way, what's this musical?
Tails in the breeze, snatching the dreams from the city. We turn little scraps into feasts. From the dark of the alley where the midnight.
Audio listeners, there are no words.
Yeah.
Audio
All right,
listeners,
no worries.
become video watchers, please.
All right,
Join
I'm
us
sorry,
live.
I didn't know they didn't play audio. It says, okay, I'll show you this. This is the same video clip from before. It was the same starting frame from before, but this is Sora 2 Pro.
Oh, it looks way different. So the first one looked, if you squinted, it was maybe like almost Grand Theft Auto-y. This one definitely looks like Daredevil, like straight out of Disney Plus.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, you can see a big quality bump. We go there. There's a cost difference too, but it's still. And the right now for Sora 2 Pro, you can't use Cameo. You can inside there. There's an API. In the API, you can't use cameos and other stuff. But Sora 2 Pro, you can use characters and stuff.
It's in the world of AI development, for folks who follow this kind of stuff closely, OpenAI had lagged at the beginning of this year in two different fields. Claude Code was thought to be the best coding model, and VO3 was understood to be the best video model. And OpenAI has, seemingly erased the leads and retaken them in both. And with Sora 2, the app, it is a product on a level that no video gen has ever even dared. Like it really is kind of this combination of what ChatGPT was in terms of making lay people understand the capabilities of this tech, and the like Studio Ghibli image gen explosion on social media, where all of a sudden people just realized how easy it was to kind of make fun images like that. You combine it, and that's where we're at right now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit unnerving to like my brain palette, my visual palette hasn't gotten accustomed to seeing high quality visual noise and then recognizing a loved one's face. Like I didn't realize it was about to be my dad in this whale shark encounter video, or Heaton. I have noticed that outfits kind of pop from the cameos because you wear the same persistent outfit, I assume, and then pieces of wherever room people were in when they recorded them.
Yeah, it's the likeness. The cameo feature was remarkable. This wasn't in my timeline for 2025. Right now that you would see this delivered in this format. I find the app extremely fun. Oh, sorry, Preston.
Yeah, sorry. Just to that point, I had heard a rumor from somebody that might know a few months ago that the new Sora model was going to have sound in the way that VO3 had sound, and that it was most notable for character consistency, which allowed for a lot more cutting in shots. So VO3's limitation, while it's an incredible model still, and certainly the pioneer for sound and voice in a video, it's very static. Like it'll generate a image and stay on it because it's not great at character consistency. So cutting is not as much of an option. This is, and the same person can be in 5 different shots and they look like the same person, which is really remarkable.
The character consistency was the next step, but the idea that you or I would upload an app from the iPhone, the iOS store, and record ourselves
way beyond.
And to record it, you literally you look into it, you look around it. It also records your entire room, so be mindful of that, because you can actually create a cameo of the environment you in, and then you just say 3 numbers. You say 3 numbers, and so they're doing like very short voice cloning. That's pretty good voice cloning. And that was a surprise for me that they were going to let you just capture yourself and put you into it. It uses a tremendous amount of compute. OpenAI released their API pricing, and for the model they're using in the app, the cost per API is 10 cents per second. So you look at, that's $1 every time you create a video.
Yep.
And so,
that's
they're
a
not
lot of
paying
dollars.
that full freight, but they're still paying servers. And so they're going to have to figure out some models for this. What kind of business models would you like to see?
One thing I've really enjoyed so far is watching OpenAI resist the call to be ad supported. I wonder how to reconcile this current explosive moment with that.
Well, I think we're probably going to see the end of that, at least when it comes to Sora 2. I think that this is an ad model. I think that what you've seen with Mark Cuban's cost plus drugs is
all but a press release of what's to come.
Certainly it's a sign that Mark Cuban is smart to want to have the attention of this audience, right? Would you or your product like a better, more regular access to it? Well, now's the time to sell it. Sam Altman hinted at this in one of his blog posts about Sora. I think OpenAI entering the ad market is all but inevitable. The question is going to be exactly how big Sora is, and therefore how big ad sales are. But I think that there's a lot of ways that you can make them interesting and fun. And, if part of the built-in idea is that you are putting your product in to this process and you are asking people to make Soras for it, or you are building Soras that are filtered into it, like, I don't know. I think it makes, I think it makes a lot of sense. And if you like, it's funny. I was thinking today, I'm like, man, I really wonder what the monthly active users are for Sora. And then it's like, well, I guess we'll have to wait a month for it to be out so we can understand
then
what
we'll
the
know what the
monthly
month-
active. Well, and then it's like, well, we'll probably have to wait at least a month after it's invite only, to do it. So we're probably not going to know that until next year, really, like what an actual baseline of monthly active users is. I'm going to take a wild guess that it's going to be freak show, hockey stick insane. And if that's the case, then, you are either selling really, really high-end memberships, which I don't know what I would certainly buy one if it gave me things that I wanted, but you're also selling ads. It's going to be a massive, massive, massive market for visual ads.
Well, and we're in such a strange moment. Like,
Well, and also, wait, hold on. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
Because it also does the thing that Google cracked, which is like, hey, would you like to advertise your product in a way that really, really pushes people to conversions? Yes. Do you not have any visual talent at all and don't know how to use Photoshop and certainly don't know how to use a video camera or edit in Premiere? Yes. Well, great. Google has AdWords. Type what you want. It's scalable. You can change things on the fly to make sure that you're always ahead of the game. Instagram, not so much. You got to shoot a video, right? TikTok, you got to shoot a video. You probably have to hire somebody. Sora, we're back to AdWords.
Yeah.
Just come up with the right words that you want, and you can make an ad. Like an ad that can click through. And if you're using the ChatGPT technology or you're leveraging the deals that ChatGPT has made with Shopify, you can also buy stuff probably right through the app. So it's like, I don't know. They're in an incredible position if this growth continues to where it should be. We've all been around the internet for a while. You kind of know when it's real. And when you see something that you don't think is going to go away, I don't think this level of video gen is going to go away in social media. I think that this is here to stay, and this is a flagship app.
Yep. I agree. Oh, did we lose?
What if your consumption
Oh, go ahead. You're back.
Yeah. What have your consumption patterns been like?
Quiet moments where it's like Sora is like when the schedule permits, I give Sora my full attention for maybe 20 or 30 minutes a day, and then it's over with. And that's just kind of naturally where the attraction is, partly because like you have so many thoughts and then they take a while to cook, and then you'll check back on them later to see what version of your reality got cooked up and whether or not you wanted to post this one. There is real value to the curation of not letting anything other than the version that you like go out.
Do we want to look at the screen time, Mayne?
Yeah.
You want to look at your screen time?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how do we do that?
You go into settings,
Yep.
screen time,
Yeah.
and then that top thing right at the bottom, you'll be able to see
Screen time.
apps.
All right. Apps.
See all apps and website activity. You can scroll on down.
See all apps and website activity. Yeah, here we go. I've got coming in at number 3, it's Sora with 14 minutes a day, just above messages. Chrome at 18 minutes, and coming in at 30 minutes per day is tower defense game Isle of Arrows. Still trying to track that one. What about you guys?
X is my most used, Safari second, third is Sora, and Sora is my daily average is 38 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm at 42. I'm the addict then. Daily
I-
average
last
42
week-
minutes.
Oh, wait,
Last
you know what?
week
I take
was-
it back. I'm sorry. Daily average is 42 minutes. I was only 14 minutes
Ah.
today. So I guess we're on the same.
Yeah, it makes more sense. So like that, I'd made a prediction last week. Like I could see myself spending a half an hour a day on it. And I'm gonna try to keep it within half an hour to 45 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I have, I made a post. I said, hey, I don't use Instagram or TikTok, so it wasn't gonna, like I never use those platforms. And I would say that my YouTube consumption's pretty much maybe consistent. I would say that my bigger media stuff isn't, I've always sort of, it's like, well, I guess I'll watch this. But my wife and I've sat next to each other in bed and been on Sora for half an hour, 45 minutes. I think the crazy thing is this. Sora only lets you do 10-second clips right now.
Yeah.
And they're going to add storyboards. You'll be able to stitch stuff together. What happens there?
I mean, the future of media, or at least a future tool of media. Like, I don't want to say that in a way that makes people think that, oh, all anybody's going to do is look at AI video going forward. But I do think that a portion of us are going to look at high quality video that we can effortlessly put ourselves into and generate via words. Like that's a really, really attractive communication method. And not to say that there's no future for anything shot with a camera. I do think that there's a big future of that. It's just going to be a part of this.
Yeah, I like there's one thing that we know when people talk about evolution versus what do they call it? Intelligent design. When people misrepresent evolution, they usually represent it as a monkey morphs over time to become a human, and that's not the way it works. Instead, there's constant divergence, and some of the branches don't survive, like Australopithecus, and then others do survive. Homo erectus becomes Homo sapiens, and so on. Likewise, we're going to see that with different types of media. We're going to see that I like the fact that Justin couched it as this is not the future, but this is a future. And there's a real kind of most of the ethical discussions about AI are oversimplified for my tastes. But one that is really interesting is the tear between supporting independent creators and which is greater, the pull for the independent creator to get paid for their creations, in which case we have to maybe cede some points of the protectionists, versus independent creators as an egalitarian. Everyone should have these tools. You should be measured by the intensity of your ability and desire and talent to tell a story.
This is the first time in a long time I've been very excited about a platform, because I can see a world where AI gets to continue to improve. We get AI content, and individual creators get to participate. And I've seen some really uninspired business plans from startups that have wanted to build AI social media networks, and then always it's just the most obvious thing you told ChatGPT, and then I get to the crypto component, and then I'm like, get me out of this meeting, right? And everybody we can all have a plan for the future. The problem is the future is going to be 8 billion people making choices and preferences on what it's going to be. And if you asked me a week ago, what would be the outcome of this? I don't know that I would have predicted where we are right now, the reaction to it, whatever. We have seen friends who are very, very anti-AI get into this platform because all it took was, hey, put your name here. Create your cameo, put in a couple guidelines here. Now you get to see you inside of there. Now you get to just guide you and your friends into something cool. This is where the creator comes in. And I can tell you the difference between my creative friends and my non-creative friends.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's exceptional stuff on there. There are exceptional 10-second stories that are being told on there. And Andrew's wife Rush is certainly one of them that's doing it. Like there's great 10-second little tidbits in there, but also visually, man, it's just so stunning. It's really funny too. That's the other thing. The model is like you can just tell it to make a joke, and like unlike a lot of models, like some of the jokes are really funny. I had to do a Norm Macdonald joke because I wanted to do like oh, wouldn't it be funny if I could just generate. This is back when it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit in terms of the licensing abilities, but like I was like, oh, I'll have Norm Macdonald.
What he means? Explain what you mean by that.
Oh, that you could do anything, and so it's you could have Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny playing pianos next to each other. But in this case, in the case of Sora, it was like Waluigi scream cursing at Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. Anyway, I just wanted to have new Norm Macdonald, and I couldn't get a really good Norm Macdonald looking character, but it sounded like Norm Macdonald, and the joke. It was about when the government shut down, and the joke was like, well, the government shut down, so if you see somebody from the government working, whoops, and it's like that was great. Like that was a great kind of Norm Macdonald-y sort of joke, like from that era.
I asked it to do a thing of Michelangelo explaining to the Pope that the Sistine Chapel is a pull my finger joke.
Yeah.
And the joke, the video turned out way better because it's done in this cheeky British comedy style, Your Holiness. It's like, yes, it's God. It's like, no, Your Holiness, it's a pull my finger joke. And it was just this very funny delivery, very funny sense. Like I've not laughed out loud as much as I have from some of the stuff I've seen on Sora. And sometimes I just give it a vague concept. Like I did a thing like, a community college class on the Necronomicon, and then it ended on a really funny joke about anyhow, I was like,
there's we're looking right now, audio listeners, at 3 totally distinct.
Well, here, play the sound. I haven't seen this one.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I released it actually. Here.
Smells like dust and ozone.
Ain't a soul touched this in years. Look, steel crate right there.
Give me a hand with the chain.
This should be it. They said it was sitting in the back of the old workshop.
The whole place smells like dust and ozone.
Ain't a soul touched this in years. Look.
Anyway, it's there's a reason I didn't post it. I like the visual, but
it looks great.
Yeah. But it's me with a mustache and me as an old man, all discovering a Torbrenner.
I like that Brian's impulse is to Peter Sellers, Gary Oldman, the whole thing. Of not only do I not need a crew, I don't need other actors. I'll play all of them.
Brian, look, Andrew, Sora gives you the ability to tell the story that you've always wanted to tell, and Brian can finally eliminate anybody else in the show and just make the entire cast Brian's.
I'll tell you what, there's so many threads to chase on different directions. I'll tell you what, if anybody is listening to this who hasn't started messing with the Sora app, what are your beginner tips? Like, make sure to try blank, blank, or blank.
One, get a code, follow the OpenAI developers. Like they just retweeted, I think MCuban, was a code that people could use to get access. So access is still being rolled out, but they're follow the OpenAI, like Bill Peoples, go to the OpenAI, look at who's talking about Sora from OpenAI on there.
By the way, there is the Sora video that I've been fed a million times. There's a meme on Sora of a kid in the 80s unwrapping presents and then screaming, no matter how ridiculous or mundane the present, he screams as if it's a Nintendo in the 80s. And one of the ones is Bill Peebles, one of the developers for Sora. And so he opens up, he's like, oh my God, it's Bill Peebles.
Yes.
So we're at OpenAI 2 days ago, and I just gotten there. I get in the elevator, and it's Bill Peoples. And I'm like, what an awkward moment where, like, all I wanted to do was just yell, it's Bill Peebles.
I mean,
But he's
at
at
that
his
point, he
office.
did it.
I
He
don't wanna
did it
do
to
that.
himself. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but also I'm technically working, so I don't want to.
Yeah,
If it
part of
was
it
at
too-
Starbucks, I might have done it. But it was an office setting, so I didn't want to just scream "It's Bill Peebles" in his face.
There are every dev and everybody is different. Remember, they're not media people, so often at first it's like, cool, I get to be the cool kid. It's like, yes, wait till you find out what that's like. And I know a top researcher that decided to leave OpenAI because he became too famous.
Yeah.
oh wow.
But I mean, the Sora guys are putting themselves in there saying, use me, cameo me. They're fine with that, but it's, and I know there are some other key people who worked on it who are not in there because they just don't want that. But it was funny because I'm looking at some Sora videos of Sam Altman, and then Sam Altman came through, walked right through our set, and it was sort of like a surreal, like, wait, what's real here?
Yeah.
Well, and now we're back to, in terms of like good old fashioned word of mouth, like actual difficult to measure impact and fame. And you could make a case that if you're in the advertising or PR business, that most of these numbers are fake. You don't know how many YouTube videos are from bots or watched by bots, et cetera. Same with tweet responses and all that stuff. But to not even have the fantasy of fake numbers, and instead just to know that most of what you're seeing in the Sora app for the moment is organic growth is fascinating.
By the way, here,
awesome.
Brian, if you can just put up these ones of Bonnie as a hard charging 80s
Oh my
detective,
God.
which
This
is just matched her energy on a level that, like, I don't know if people who don't know Bonnie appreciate it, but I was like, oh, like it's the life she was born to live.
I know.
She should be picking up corded phones and asking where he is.
It's great.
We don't have any audio on that, but yeah.
Oh, do you want the audio on it? Here we go.
Wait, not this time, Mark.
Then tell me what you're really after.
Yes, I'm on my way. Whatever's waiting down there, it ends tonight. Who paid you, Brian? Last chance.
It was Keller. He wanted the ledger gone.
I'm just gonna walk away. Not this time, Mark.
Then tell me
There's
what you're
so
really
many
after.
great,
Yes,
even the
I'm on my way.
artifacts are
Whatever's waiting down
kind of
there, it
adorable.
ends
Like the cord on the phone starting at one end and then just snapping to the other end of the phone. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's just I don't know. I kind of wonder, is this for like manifestation folks, for like positive thinking folks. Like I think that there's like a mental health element to just like, hey, here's where I want to be. Let me just have visuals, clean visuals of in moving color of like the goals I want to achieve. Like there's like some cool ideas here.
There was God, the prompts, like less is more, just a clever thought. The prompt I wrote on this one was golf announcers ignore a hole in one while arguing about the linguistic uses of farther versus further. I didn't expect this to go as well as it did here. I'm going to turn it up here now. Here we go.
Now, see, I still think you use farther for physical distance only.
Right, but further can handle both physical and metaphorical. It just sounds smoother when you're talking about
But
progress.
if the green is 30 yards away, you wouldn't say.
See, and it's that end part where it cuts off, where the 10 seconds stops being a frustration and becomes a benefit. It's so great.
There's so many things that just knocked out of the park. Like I just wondered even if there was an audio only version of this, of like, because some of the sketches and stuff like that, to listen to them, we're so far beyond like Notebook LM and the podcast of the NPR like thing. What got annoying very quickly to like the engagement. Somebody went in and started giving Sora some of the exams that you give for models to measure the capability, how strong they are.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like GPT-5 Pro level, but it was actually solving problems and stuff. You say like, hey, Brian, explain to me how to spell strawberry, which was a joke a while ago because the models would screw up because of tokenization.
That's amazing.
And now we're watching a world generator model. And I think a number of people are starting to rethink the simulation hypothesis.
I mean,
Oh, I'd hate to say it, but that occurred to me as well.
I am very, very bullish for creators because I think that if you say, hey, as a person that's created IP and does this, whatever, I look at this and I go, oh, if people are talking about it here, it's actually not a big threat to what I'm doing. It actually helps make me relevant and in there. I hope IP holders, I don't even think, I think sure, a profit sharing thing or whatever would be cool, but you know, I think Disney could benefit from having a lot of Star Wars characters and Marvel characters in the public eye and being used in stuff like this, because you watch them and you start to think like, oh yeah, I think I want to go watch Thor.
Well, also it's like, you know, during that first 48 hours when things were very, very wild, wild west, you know, they just announced that there's a Simpsons 2 movie coming out, right? And the only thing that the public knows of it is that it's happening and there's a poster, and it's a very generic poster. And then Sora comes out, and you see a 10-second trailer of The Simpsons 2, and it looked pretty good. And I'm like, wow, you know, people were making a lot of South Park scenes that were there, and it's like obviously, look, let's operate in a world where we imagine that the AI Sovereign Wealth Fund is paying out all these rights holders for their IP a fair rate. But it's like, if you looked at what the audience wanted to do with it, it was like, we want to make our own episodes. We want to make our own things. And like, we want to do it in the style of this show. Like if you look at what fan fiction is and the explosion of that, the fact that that has only continued, it's a natural outgrowth, but now it's consumable on a level beyond, you know, people who know what Wattpad is.
You know, what's interesting is I wonder what it does to rights holding when it's difficult to even define what it is you're tracking. Like, for example, advertising on Sora could look like everybody is just using Sora, and then you scroll and it's you using a new type of vacuum and seeing firsthand how much better it works in this particular type of stain or whatever. And it's like, on the one hand, depending on how tinfoil hatty you want to be, that's either terrifying because it's the dream of every advertiser to plant a thought in somebody's mind, or it's incredibly honest and pure, because after all, that's what all advertising is you want to plant a thought in somebody's mind.
Well, that we are the kind of the beautiful thing about the moment we're at right now is we have these reasoning models, which are pretty good. And one, like I'm all for encouraging advertising on here. I think advertising thing exists, and I think that anything that sucks advertising out of TikTok and Instagram or the Meta platform, I'm really, really excited about. Also, because I think we'll be able to make them super contextual and stuff, because once you lower the cost of video ads, like we talked about before, like when you can put together a scam school ad and say, I want to do a $50 ad spend and see results on it, and also like custom make ads for segments.
It brings Google AdWords simplicity to video.
And Google AdWords got more complex though too, though. And like the thing that when I put a reasoning model to run a campaign, it's amazing. I think the beautiful thing where OpenAI is at is what I would love, the thing that Instagram and the other ones never want to do is offer you a subscription tier, because once they price you a subscription tier and they figure out how to monetize you as an ad product even higher, they regret a subscription tier, right?
Yeah.
But I love subscription tiers because I hate ads. But in a world where, you know, we launched iTricks, our blog, off of Magic Ads because people actually like those ads. A lot of people like some ads on Instagram. A lot of people like some stuff. And I could see like, hey, my profile, only show me ads for blank, which one actually increases the value of those ad placements. They know that once it. And to your point, Brian, you know, you'd be like, yeah, show me in ads. I'm cool. If it's clothing, show me in clothing ads. Because like then I'll be like, oh wow, I look really cool in that. Buy. Like that's insane to think about, the idea that like, you know, I could just put in there like I'm looking for new clothes, looking for new shoes and stuff, and I start getting ads with the stuff with me inside of there.
You know what? And I wonder if that kind of opt-in experience, like imagine right now you've got 3 feeds. You've got For You, you've got Following, and you've got Latest. What about a 4th one? Show me blank. Or, you know, you give a prompt where it's like, yeah, I got you know, you just talk to the camera maybe. And it's like, yeah, I got a thing on Friday. It's this kind of affair. I don't know much about the event that we're doing, but pitch me. What do you got? And then after that, it's just a feed of you, this look, the other. And then at that point, you set the creepy slider based on, is it just watching you watch it and making all of its decisions for you? Or is it asking you for your feedback? I don't know. I did, I don't know if I shared this with you, Andrew, but my favorite remix thread, because I don't think we talked about the remix feature on Sora yet, but whatever anybody riffs on, you can build upon it. So in this case, there's this epic mech, basically a church come to life that is on a World War I looking battlefield. And then the next scene has people running away from this epic church mech thing. And so I just gave it the remix prompt of a worthy nemesis shows up. And sure enough, now it's like a giant knight about the same size as the mech. And then at this point, Tom Merritt piped up saying, what happens next is, or then make the next scene epic. And spoiler alert, it did not. It looks like League of Legends, roughly. And so riffing on it, I remixed it as the battle continues, but looks more and more cheap and puppet-like, at which point there are actual strings, and you can tell that it is cheap and puppet-like. And then Ace Detect says, in the next scene, the production has clearly run out of money, and all of a sudden it does. It looks very shabby, like they just ran out of money. And then I had the actors get out, and then I had the actors go out for coffee. And then I followed the meet cute, and I had them tell their Hollywood stories of how they came to meet each other. And it just kind of became a totally different movie, all organically.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's that, as Brian mentioned, is the remix feature. So any video you see in there, you click remix and you can change it or tweak it. And people try to extend stuff and they can sort of do that. But once we get a really good way to do that, like I would love, indefinite length would be great, but even getting to 30 seconds or a minute of just, and cut, and like it doesn't have to be one continuous video. It could be once I could start combining clips into a video, which is a thing that could happen in the next few weeks, and I could do minute-long explainers, becomes incredibly capable. What Brian showed there, like the quality of that was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And, we're a week into this. A year from now, we're going to be seeing features and stuff, and I think what we're going to see that whenever we talk about AI-generated stuff, we often forget the idea that they're going to be creators, and some people are going to use the tools better than others.
Oh, yeah.
I could see small teams of people, actors and writers getting together and, meeting at a house and say, let's go make a feature film. We'll go shoot some blue screen stuff of our stuff, maybe some real stuff. We'll throw it in the AI. Then we're going to spend a lot of time crafting where we want this to be. And much like you might do animation, but just generate entire stuff, and you could use mix and create great works, but it's going to be from teams of real people playing with the stuff.
Yeah, I think that the comp that I like to draw, and I might have mentioned this on this very podcast, but this feels very late 80s, early 90s remix or sample culture, where the defaulting on the prisoner's dilemma is AI just Vanilla Ice rapping over Under Pressure, or is it an entire concept album made entirely of Parliament Funkadelic samples like Digital Underground Sex Packets? The two are technically the same animal, but very different. And it takes just time for the audience, the consumers, to become sophisticated to find out where the talent is, who's consistently got the skills to do the editing, the curation, to say something with the tools that are given.
I mean, I think this is extraordinarily versatile. And that's the big thing that I think has led to its staying power, that it wasn't just like a couple days and then dropped down. And to your point, Brian, I would actually disagree with the idea that it is only really powerful on Sora, because you have seen it become a huge driver of content on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. People are using these videos as content on those platforms, which leads it again to be one of those, and we'll see. I have no reason why it's not going to continue on this trend, but it is becoming the like spawner of memes in the way that something awful or 4chan or Tumblr have done in the past.
It's almost like a 3D printer for rapid prototyping of memes. You get HD pitches instead of, you know, low quality.
I mean, these things are memes, dude. These are final products.
Oh, well, but again, what I mean is the seed, because when it's not a meme until it takes root and other people start riffing on it, then it's a meme.
Well,
Until
I mean,
then,
it's a meme if people share it. Like, and that's what, to me, the mark of quality is that like it is out there on Instagram. Like, what I gave it to a non-technical friend of mine and who also likes wrestling, and I'm like, oh, I've been sending him videos of like Tupac Shakur walking out to like ECW in 1997 or blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, you can go look up all these wrestling memes and you can make them. And he's like, yeah, I saw this on Instagram. Martin Luther King joined the NWO. And it's like, yeah, that's, you know, when you can create anything, then you can fit that into wherever else you want to be. It just so happens that this is the place where it's made. And I don't know, man. I'm bullish on it. I have a few predictions. You want a prediction?
Yeah, predict it up.
I'll see if I can put a time on this. Before Thanksgiving, Meta will jam Vibes, their version of this, into Instagram. Make it Instagram native for you to create videos.
Do you think?
And I think it will be reacted to poorly by the Instagram audience.
Yeah. Do you think that there will be some kind of labeling system to make it clear, like smoking versus non-smoking sections?
Probably. I think it might have a ring around it or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be in the same feed. Like the one thing that you could always count on Meta to do, if there is a successful upstart, is for them to jam the feature of that successful upstart into their most watched place, where that would possibly eat into their viewership. And there is no doubt that this is an Instagram competitor right now.
Yeah.
That Lapples thing is so funny.
Yeah, Tom Merritt started Lapples. Have you gotten the Lapples meme yet, Andrew?
No.
They're apples for your lap. That's why they're just nice and wide. They stay put. They don't go rolling around. There's all kinds of variations. There's chocolate covered Lapples. There's grenades that sit on your lap. Chocolate covered grenades. Caramel Lapples that turn out to be cake.
Look, it just dripped onto her.
Yeah.
It's amazing because, like, one, sometimes you'll spot a goof, but then you'll see it do something really great, and a little detail, the fidelity and everything else. We're simple algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Meta's gonna put that in. I don't think that the Instagram audience is gonna like it, but I think that that would be the Meta move if I were to guess. I think that we're gonna get ads in Sora, and I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it's still the #1 app. Well, on New Year's Eve.
That was the question this morning from Andrew Heaton was, how long will this glow survive? Because it's still fun to do. And I'm like, man, I think it seems pretty self-sustaining right now. How long have action figures been fun to play with?
I mean, because also I wouldn't be shocked if we get another update to the model. I wouldn't be shocked if we get new features on it by the time that the holidays roll around.
Cannot get enough of big muscle Heaton.
Well, I think another paradigm to talk about briefly, if we want, is OpenAI announced several things, one of which was a way to do commerce inside of ChatGPT the week before.
Yeah.
They partnered with Etsy and Shopify, so it can make recommendations if you want and pop them up inside of ChatGPT, and you can click into checkout there. Then we had on Monday with Dev Day, we had Agent Kit, which is really cool. It's your way to build your own sort of ChatGPT like app, connect it to a back end and do stuff. They're going to have API calls, a really exciting framework that'll make it so easy for a lot of people to go build apps.
Oh, and that real quick, I only saw just a screenshot of it. That's basically an N8N like functionality.
Yeah, it's like N8N, but native inside of ChatGPT. And build it, you can build it and all that there. I think that'll be a big competitor for N8N, which they just got a big round of funding, which I think there's a big world for those kinds of tools. But I do think that, you can't, the fact that OpenAI created their competitor, they said they did it in 6 weeks.
6 weeks from them from building it to deploying it at Dev Day. And it was like one of their big Dev Day announcements. That's nuts.
Yeah. Another one they added is apps inside of ChatGPT. The idea that you could create your own app that would run inside of ChatGPT, which is going to be I think could be the App Store moment, which wasn't with functions, wasn't with GPTs, but I think apps inside of ChatGPT, because part of the goal there is, I don't even have to see it. I can just have ChatGPT run it and do it. They did a demo with Zillow where they were able to search for houses and have ChatGPT narrow it down by things near dog parks, which is insane.
I'm massively bullish on apps. I think that there are specific businesses that can be built on the combination of apps plus purchasing, and specifically the idea of a subscription. If you could put that in there, apps plus subscription plus tasks, so something that will reach out and remind you of things, you've got a gigantic business there. You've got an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think
it's just it's all happening. It's all
for
here.
Developers and people who want to build stuff. I think if you've got a good idea and a good problem you want to solve, it's a great place to be building today.
I'll tell you what, talking about advertising, Hack5 Darren is crushing it with anthropomorphized versions of all of his products.
He's been doing a World War II movie or a Cold War a military thriller that doesn't even connect to his products. He's just using the animals that he has named his products, and it looks phenomenal. If you just did this as a trailer and it was just animals doing a Cold War military thriller, I'd be I would watch this. This looks awesome.
Yeah, another thing that came out was OpenAI announced, was a low-key announcement, but they came out with their new image model, which is their image gen is always, I think, capabilities-wise, probably the best model because of its variability thing, but Nano Banana for speed and everything else and accuracy was great. So OpenAI came out with Image Gen Mini, which is actually it does things Nano Banana, even Google's frontier models can't do when it comes to text placement and complex stuff. They all start to get their own strengths. So I don't want to be one's better than the other, but I love doing comic book panels and stuff.
Yeah.
And so Image Gen Mini does it, and it's dirt cheap to use.
I'll tell you what, I don't know where in the product line this happened, but I was trying to demonstrate apps to my wife Ashley yesterday while we were eating at a food truck. And I was interacting with Canva, which has an app. And then I took a picture of Ashley and I said, make this a poster about eating at a food truck. And it didn't use Canva. It used Image Gen. But for the first time that I've ever seen, it actually used the photo and then used Image Gen to just lay out and create the text around it. But I had not seen that as it just kind of photo editing like that while retaining the original photo. But it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Any picks, gentlemen?
Yeah, dude, I watched Weapons for a second time. In fact, I bought it because you could buy it, and it's a good movie. Did you guys see Weapons yet?
Big fan. Big
I
fan
am
of
not.
weapons. My wife and I, when we exited the movie theater, we put our arms out like the kids.
Yeah.
Like this, and started running across the street.
Somewhere in between a T-pose and a Naruto run.
Yeah. Yeah, Weapons was really great. Loved Weapons. Really enjoyed that.
And it stood up to a repeat viewing. Sometimes, especially with a thriller where there is something to be revealed, sometimes you wonder if it'll hold up to a second viewing if you know all the things. Turns out it's even more fun because you get to pick up on all the clues that were right there in front of you.
Excellent. Justin?
My pick, I watched 2 episodes of The Studio on the way back from San Francisco to Austin. Specifically, them casting the Kool-Aid Man movie.
I've watched that one 3 times. It's
and,
so great.
The Golden Globes episode, both of which are very, very funny. And I was delighted by both of them. And I remember really liking them when I saw them. I like them just as much rewatching them. The Kool-Aid Man one is like, at some point, people are going to look as a way to define what happened in Hollywood over the last 10 years. And you can just pretty much sum it up in 30 minutes with the Kool-Aid Man episode.
And it's great because it takes you along for the ride enough that you understand the logic of what they're doing as they dig themselves deeper and deeper into some more and more artifice.
Well, yeah, I mean, the premise of the episode is that they are very, very thrilled. They have a lot of social buzz for a Kool-Aid Man movie. And they have a cast that they love, including Ice Cube as the Kool-Aid Man, until one of them asks the very simple question that sets off the entire episode, which is Ice Cube as the Kool-Aid Man racist? And that leads them down so many paths of terror about backlash and white guilt, and trying to balance the modern meta of all that. And it just goes into very, very funny places on who they are judging for their advice and the decisions that they're making. If
Who
their
they
decisions
seek absolution from.
yeah, if their decisions are making things better or worse, it's great. It's really, really funny.
My pick is Sora.
Oh,
I mean, fair enough.
enough said.
That's kind of all the stories.
Yeah. Excellent. Gentlemen, it's been weird.
Got it. You guys want to roll right into after things? All right, here. Hang on one second.
I'll let you guys do it. I not feeling so good, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
There's Rush, so I'm gonna go take care of her
All right. Well, then I will let you go, good sir.
later.
All right.
Miss us?
Not if we get stretch our legs.
It's about
Oh, wait.
time.
Oh,
Look,
that's
grab
right.
it.
Sora is a chatty
Care for a spin?
app. It loves to just have audio at all times. Hello, beautiful chat room. It's been a minute. I look forward to all of us chit-chatting for a touch. That'll be nice. I am a little bit curious. Oh, I see. What? Here, let me see if... There we go. See if I can pop out this chat. Pop out the chat. There we go. Yo, dude. Justin, it's you and me for After Things.
Oh, did he have to bounce?
Yeah, he was feeling a bit off. Let's say I set up that round table and I'll just come over there. We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, here you can have a chat with the chat.
Oh, hi, chat. It's your old pal, Justin Robert Young. I'm here, and I can't really see your chat. Can you make the chat bigger?
Oh, this
Because
right here?
I'm old.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Robert O'Brien is the last chat.
And so I have a funny feeling the same as published store is a desperate attempt to make money.
Well, I mean, all of business.
Yeah, I mean, with the understanding that every business does have to make money, the way that OpenAI makes money is by continuing to create frontier models and then making the models that are not frontier cheaper and cheaper. Sora is something that, like, if and when they get into advertising, one could make the argument that they would get into advertising not because it would be a revenue generator for them, but because in a zero-sum world where advertising agencies are spending on certain things in certain places, that they would be hurting two of their biggest competitors, Google and Meta, which right now are the unquestioned champions of ad spend. TikTok obviously makes a lot. Snapchat makes a fair amount, but nobody touches Meta and Google when it comes to that. If Sora put in ads, it would be a seismic change in that field.
It would, well, maybe that could
But
be our topic.
hold on. But if ChatGPT put in ads on the free tier, it's generationally game changing in the world of advertising, at least for Meta and Google.
Here, I think I figured out a way to get the chat on this over here. There we go. So that we can still see the chat. Pop out the chat. There we go. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, but if you can put it, or were you going to need the?
Well,
the
if I was
big
going to walk
screen?
over there, I was going to, so I could monitor this, but I can try putting.
Well, I can't. I mean, unless I'm looking. But sure, yeah, you can put it over there.
Let me, I see. Here, we'll do this. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll be able to switch between the two like that. Cool. All right, well, here. I'll run to the restroom real quick, and then like that. We'll jump in.
Cool.
I'll run to the restroom. YouTube synthwave.
Robert, to the point of a lot of videos being downloaded and uploaded to other platforms, to me, I do not see that as a negative. I see that as proof that the content's good. The question then just becomes, do people want to create their own, and do people want to be there where they're going to see them first? History would say yes. Normally, people pick yes to that, but we don't know. We don't know. I am very curious. I mean, like, I think there's a lot that is changing right now in the field of tech. And what makes OpenAI dangerous is not even necessarily that their models are great, which they are. It's that I don't know if anyone else has figured out product in that space in the way that OpenAI has figured out product. And it's mostly because they're just going fast. Like, they prototype a lot of stuff. They throw out a lot of features that just kind of come, go, disappear, evolve. Like, but the cycle in which they are evolving is just like staggering. It's just crazy. Which is another reason why I think I am bullish on Sora, because if it's this successful, then we'll fart.
Well, fart.
Yeah.
All right, here. See if this works. I think it's going to work. So
This time, I think it's gonna
see.
work.
Oh, wait.
That's the last thing you hear when you're on the Hulk at Universal Studios.
Oh
Islands
wow!
of
It
Adventure.
is, so it's like burned into your.
Yeah, and because it's like now testing gamma radiation. I think I'm controlling it. I think it's gonna work. And then he goes, no. Ah! And then it's the coolest stuff. Spoilers for a roller coaster that came out 30 years ago. But it's doing the like the like tick tick tick.
Oh,
tick,
the
tick,
fake
tick,
out,
tick,
yeah.
tick tick tick, and then like halfway through he's like, ah! And it goes and just like ramps you for the rest of the upper.
Yeah, that
act.
was the first to like fake you out to one of those old school kinetic energy or potential energy kinetic energy thing, and they're like, nope, it's just an aircraft launch.
Yeah.
All
Great
right.
roller coaster.
It is.
Great roller coaster.
Okay, I'm gonna hit record here in 3, 2. Welcome to the After Things podcast. I'm
Yeah.
Brian.
I'm Justin.
Just the two of us, like it's always
It's
been.
just hey, co-host.
We're leaving it.
It's just we should just do different versions of us talking.
I'm here for
It
it.
should just be
man.
Brian and Justin comedy. Brian and Justin life advice. Brian and Justin medical advice.
I mean, to be
Brian
honest,
and Justin stock picks.
there's part of me that wants to be fully blue pilled. Just plug me into that existence.
Yeah, well,
Stuff can happen.
We are blue pill. We are
We can
back
talk-
on set in
Oh,
our.
no, that's right.
in our
We,
blue
we haven't
shirts.
posted. You know what? We can talk about this for the After Things podcast because we are big on keeping our body promises to the fans.
Yep.
And we talked a bit about the fact that we were late on the comedy podcast. And
Great night.
yep. And we're gonna, I guess, we just thing to do as soon as we stop talking now
Yeah.
is we're
Finish uploading the comedy podcast.
yes,
Yeah.
so that we could drop it into the main feed.
Yeah, because we got done with a bunch of stuff, and then I had to do a bunch of stuff, and you had to do a bunch of stuff. Then we went to go get lunch just in time to come back and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The queue is getting overwhelmed, and then somehow
we need an M
we wait.
because we already have a Q.
Oh, got it. All right, yeah. We do. So, I got a question.
I like to call it just ruining things for no reason.
No,
It's a new,
somewhere
it's
out
a
there
new
is
bit.
somebody.
It's a new bit I call just taking a fart. I should just fart,
Somebody-
right? Just
somewhere
loud,
out
so
there-
loud that no one can hear what's said.
Somewhere out there, somebody
Useless.
somebody has a mental map and is catching all of this because there is kind of like a strange shared telepathy when both nature and nurture are
The problem
aligned.
is that there's so few people. As I get older and you realize that it is not cute for a 42-year-old man to just ruin conversations, that you realize that there's fewer and fewer people that you could just do that to.
Yeah.
And so I don't do it with anyone but you.
I'm okay with
You're
that.
pretty much the only one that you'll just be in
Well,
the
and
middle of like
also-
having a real conversation and I'll just be like Tonka.
That's true, but part of it is turnabout is fair play. Like you have a lot of coupons.
That's true.
You're like, I played a lot of Chuck E. Cheese. So a thing that I have noticed is when people are starting their independent media initiatives, it is very tempting to look at numbers because after all, that's the only thing that you freaking get.
Yep.
And it's very difficult to know how many of them are robots and how many of them are real humans. But what I find is that people have a blind spot for the fact that, for example, if they have multiple properties, they're like, this one's got 100,000. This other one's got 100,000. This one's got 100,000. That's 300,000. I'm like, nope. That's about 110,000.
Yeah.
Spread among 3 flavors.
Yeah.
And what I find is that people oftentimes forget to really process, like, how are you interacting on an ongoing basis with somebody in their established life? Because we've been at the game long enough that we know what a monumental ask it is to invite someone into your brain.
Yeah.
And on your commute, on your weekly schedule, whatever it is. What are some insights that you have when you're before even creating something thinking about like, do you begin with the ending in mind? Well, like, how is this? Does this serve the greatest good, and so on?
Usually it's that.
Yeah.
I usually think about
Yeah,
whether or not
does
this serves
this
the
serve
greatest
greater
good.
good? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm like, oh, should I do a Captain Morgan podcast? Does this serve the greatest good? It's like, yes. No one said I was good at answering the question. I'm just saying that I answer the question.
The answer is always
The
yes.
answer turns out,
As
yes.
a large language model.
The world
yes.
needs me. I think that this might be a difference between kind of like a podcast mindset and a YouTube mindset. And I would say that those are probably continuing conversations that were different between television and radio, which is that the reason to do something in the radio and podcast version is it possible to create the right vibe? Is it possible to create the right feeling that somebody wants to feel? And that's the reason to do it. Like almost everything else is secondary. The concept, how good it's going to be, whether or not the quality, I mean, to a certain extent, is going to be the best it could possibly be. Is it going to sound better than anything else? Like all that is kind of secondary to, is the listener going to have a good time? Is the listener going to be,
or if not a good time,
transported?
like for example, sometimes what you want is to challenge the listener, or like, are you?
But even then, to challenge it, it has to be in a way that you enjoy it.
Right.
It has to be challenging in a way of like, oh, I like listening to Dennis Miller because I'm gonna have to go to Wikipedia 3 times to see what the jokes mean, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I like that. There's enough that pleases you around it that the challenging things seem fun and don't seem like a chore. Whereas YouTube and television are, I think, oftentimes, at least on the television side, by the nature of the resources that you had to deploy to it, a lot more, let's think of where this ends. Let's think of like, oh, at the end of every episode, the Hulk has to go to another town. Like, so what's the craziest thing we can do that involves him leaving? Like, okay, well, now we've created a classic 70s television show. YouTube is a similar idea where it's like, what do I want the takeaway to be from this?
YouTube forces you to encounter a reality that is old hat in the 1970s, the TV procedural. First of all, you had to have a 1-minute long intro segment because not everyone could coordinate being at the same place at the same time. And you needed that long, good old boys. Yep.
Hospital, brought to you by GE. Starring Doug Majorman.
Oh, we need a hospital on line 3.
Linda McManison.
Won't somebody think of the hospitals?
And introducing Jimmy McGiddle.
I love hospitals.
When there's a sick person, there's a hospital.
Oh, do. Anyway, good. Hospital speaking. Yes, can you get me a hospital on the line, Stat?
Hospital calling. All right.
Listen, Jiminy, hospital's gonna be here for the big hospital exam. If you don't have this hospital tip hospitaled, you're gonna really be back in the ER. All right, I'm pretty sure I found the right.
This is why Andrew has to be here.
No, we're gonna.
This is why Andrew. If Andrew's not here, it turns into this stuff. It turns into a hospital immediately.
Well, first of all, what's lucky is now somebody can make the show on Sora.
They can make hospital. The 1970s hospital
Brought to
procedural.
you by GE.
Brought to you by GE.
But this was one of my points.
I love that. Also, we worked for 30 minutes to get the chat up and immediately took it off mode.
No, here it is. Okay. So my point is that with YouTube, you can encounter one slice of a thing, and that's it. That's all you're going to get. And that's the way it was with self-contained procedurals back in the day. And with YouTube, you have to, because many of your big hits are those outliers that break out and get a million views, and they have a different structural flavor. Like maybe a channel does their usual thing and hits 30,000. I'm not thinking of any one particular channel, but then occasionally does a high fidelity version that it's like, oh yeah, that is of sufficient polish that it crosses the threshold and becomes palatable to millions instead of tens of thousands.
Yeah.
But for everybody who only encounters the million views, like that's going to be it. They're not going to fall all the way down into the spiral of your content well.
And that is something that I think is an artifact of the home video era, and then really more the DVD box set era that defined streaming. The idea that it is more expected that if you like a thing, you watch all of it.
Right.
Like, as opposed to what that used to be, which was if you loved a thing, you watched all of it. If you liked a thing, because in a world pre-TiVo and DVR, it was hard to catch everything. It's like, if you liked it, it was like, oh, I happen to be in front of the television on Tuesdays. I watch Hospital.
I watched most of Hospital's run.
Yeah.
I from what I've told, there was one very special episode brought to us by GE.
Yeah, like I really like Hospital, so I watch it. If I remember that it's on, I turn it on. As opposed to now where it's like, oh, I like Love Island. I've watched 7 seasons on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I've watched it constantly. And a lot of that, I think, is also changing consumption patterns where a lot of people will second screen stuff in a way that A, wasn't possible, and B, I think is, I don't know, how much can you second screen? I can't second screen at all.
Almost none. Like if something is good enough that I make the conscious decision to watch it, then almost certainly there's enough going on that my full attention is enraptured. Even if it's rage watching, like Yellowstone has some very surface level only storytelling, but there's always plenty of rich visuals the entire time. And in the case of, for example, Death Note is a pretty simple story and simple visuals, and I feel like I'm betraying it if I look at another screen. Plus, also, I'm looking away from the subtitles.
I would say if it's something that I don't really care about, aka something my wife put on, I will just look at my phone in the same way that she'll look at her phone when I'm watching something that I primarily like, or sports are on.
Like Hospital.
Well, we love Hospital. We both love Hospital. When we hear that, like you just know it's on.
Pavlov's dog starts salivating.
Yep. But in general, I cannot split my attention. And also, if it's worth watching for me, I want to pay attention to it. It's the same reason why I don't do sped up podcasts.
There are some that I will do. First of all, no human should have to listen real time to Sam Harris.
Well, I don't listen to Sam Harris, but yeah.
He speaks very slowly.
Yeah.
But there are transactional informational things that I always listen to them sped up. But then other presentationally rich ones like your Radio Labs or your, like, for example, World's Greatest Con, we aim to be the kind of thing that you would want to listen to.
Yeah.
1X.
Anything with a lot of music beds, it bothers me when it's like that always gets me. Although audiobooks, I will listen. I'm upping my speeds. Like I'm at like 1.5, and I feel like I could go to 1.75.
Yeah.
Just because like the gain on that is just insane. Like if you listen at 1.5 or 1.75, like you take a 5-hour audiobook down to like 2.5 hours or whatever. And it's like let's go.
Well, and especially I remember doing any of your George R. R. Martin stuff where it's just like,
oh no,
would you like 10 free hours?
Yeah. Although that was something where I was listening to those while I was running, and so it's like I enjoyed it. I wanted to spread it out.
Yeah.
I remember where I was in the neighborhood when the Red Wedding happened in the book.
Awesome.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
what
Did
the
I
flip?
mishear that?
What the flip?
That's a real tricky book.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a dream sequence in the show Hospital. In this episode of Hospital.
Stop it.
The blue shirt boys arrive. The mystery. What's with those two strangers? They're giving personality tests. The blue shirt boys, they're harmless. I don't know. I heard about a hospital over on the other side of town. Sure. Mary. I was on line 7. They had a question.
There's
Is it
nowhere
about
I
the
can
hospital?
go that's not inappropriate for this show.
Okay. Well, then,
Well, I mean, I will say I was talking to a kid today that I will give the advice that I gave to him to anybody who is listening right now, which is he is somebody that is in the political sphere.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a TikTok and an Instagram, young kid, junior in college, and he wants to just, know best practices on scaling that up and seeing what that looks like. And, I told him, all right, name me 3 people that you love, whose content you really, really love, that you really appreciate. And he gave me 3, and I'm like, 2 of them were extraordinarily big names. One was one that I had not heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, go to all their top 10 episodes on YouTube and just tell me what's similar about them, why you believe they were popular. Write it down. Don't think about it. Write it down. That's your baseline for your first 15 episodes that you're going to do. You're going to think about the reasons why those were popular, and you're going to match those reasons to the best ideas that you have. And you're going to do 15 episodes. You're going to have 15 different ideas, and you're going to do 15 different episodes. You're going to think YouTube first right now before you think about a podcasting thing, if it's just you, if it's not you and another friend. So that's what you're going to do. And you're going to learn a lot of lessons that I can't explain, or I could explain them, but it's not going to matter for me to explain them because you got to experience them.
Right. It'll be a bunch of words coming out of your face, but it'll be...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be... I'd be the wise man at the town that you leave on your hero's journey that eventually you realize matter, but won't matter at all when I tell them to you. But generally, the quest that you are on, that everybody is on in content creating, is who are you? What does the world want from you? That's it. And I was here, I was literally at this table having this conversation, and I'm like, that is your quest that I am giving you right now. I am in a studio that is on 7 acres that was purchased with money that came from content creation. My friend Brian owns it. That's the quest that Brian is on right now.
Right.
It never ends. That's it. It always has to be a labor of love, just because the amount of sacrifice that needs to go into anything, let alone a media enterprise, let alone a media enterprise in the free media world. And then the last thing I was like, the reason why it matters what the world wants from you, not just your brilliant ideas, is that you ever been on an airline and they're like, we know that you have many options, and we're glad that you've spent your money with us. That's 8 options. They say that for 8 different options. You picked one of 8, and realistically, you probably picked one of 2.
Yes.
Because your airport only has an overrepresentation of probably 1, 2, maybe 3 airlines.
Right.
So it's like, that's what they do to you when you've made almost always a binary decision to pick them over somebody else. In the free content world, it is 8 billion people at all times that are competing against everybody else for everybody else's attention. He had a very specific political niche, and I was like, even young people on this side of the political aisle with this specific slant that he told me, you're probably up against, I would say, roughly 150 people.
Yeah.
Now, they're not all going to be good.
Right.
And you'll probably be able to out-hustle most of them, but that's where you start. You start with that specific niche and your specific type having about 150 competitors, and you need to make sure that you love this, because for you to outwork them, you're not.
It's got to come from somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I said is do those 15, and then we would recircle back. But I thought that was pretty good YouTube advice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll keep this one shorter at any rate. Thank you very much to all of our beautiful patrons. Thank you to General Electric, proud sponsor.
General Electric sponsors hospital. Also brought to you by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Electrifying.
And viewers like you. All right, we are. This is the
Also
end
by Craft Singles. Don't get doubles. Make it a singles.
Next time, featuring more Andrew Mayne.
Yes. Also, blue shirts. Buy them and wear them together. Also, make sure that you're bathed in blue light, just in case people don't get the point.
Never admit why blue. Bye.
Not all suppressive people.
Beep, 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 boo. There we go. All right, you beautiful, beautiful people. There we go. We'll catch you guys next time. There may be some shenanigans this weekend. Keep an eye on the live feed.
Keep it live, baby.
Yes, what a liar. The Liar Man. What a good show. All right, bye, guys.